The excerpt of Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John that I'll be teaching you today contains 4 different chords that you'll play with your left hand and a very simple melody that you'll play with your right hand. You can download the free specialized sheet music of Can You Feel the Love Tonight by clicking on the link directly below this video player. If you've already printed out the sheet music, then let's get started. Now, you may have noticed that the music looks very elementary, but I promise you, this is all you need to create a professional, full-sounding piano arrangement. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it in this short 10-minute video lesson. Also, it's best to learn the right hand and left hand parts separately, and then, when you can play each part comfortably, then play both hands together. So if you're ready, let's start with the right hand melody. Okay, our melody to Can You Feel the Love Tonight starts on the second G above middle C. Here's middle C, here's the next C, there's our starting note. We're going to start with our 5th finger on that G, and we'll keep our hand in that 5-finger position for just a little bit, but here we go. We'll start with our 5th finger. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move our 2nd finger over to that C there in the 2nd measure. Reason being, we want to be able to get all the way down to that A. Now, the next measure where the C chord is, you'll see there's a rest there on beat 1. So you'll be able to lift your hand up and just move your thumb over to that G, and here we go. Now we have to get all the way up to this high F, so we're going to go 1 on that G, 2 on the C, and that'll comfortably put our pinky on that high C, and then we just come down to that D right in order. So let's do that again. So we'll start. Now if you want to write in the fingering here, write a 5 on that first G. You can write a 3 on that E, a 2 on the A. That's the most important one. That's going to allow you enough fingers to get down to that A. Okay, now we have a rest, so we can lift up the whole hand. So you can mark that G with a 1, the C with a 2, and you really don't need to mark any other fingering because now your fingers will just fall right on the keys you need. Okay, so that is the melody to this short excerpt from Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Replay this as many times as necessary and move on to the left hand chords when you're ready. Okay, there are 4 different chords for Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Our first chord is the C chord, which is C, E, and G. A good fingering for this is pinky, middle finger, thumb. A good alternative would be 4 or your ring finger, 2 your index finger, and 1 which is your thumb. So either 5, 3, 1 or 4, 2, 1. And you can use the same fingering for each chord. Okay, whichever is more comfortable. So our first chord is C, E, G. Then we're going to move to the right for our G chord, which is G, B, and D. Then we're going to move 1 to the right for our A minor chord, A, C, and E. Then we're going to move to the left for our F chord, which is F, A, and C. Now, that's all of the new chords. The last 3 chords are just repeats. So there's our C chord, C, E, G. Move to the right for our F chord, and then 1 to the right for our G chord. Now, if you're real new to chords, one thing you might want to do is just write in the notes above each chord symbol in the sheet music. So our C chord would be C, E, and G. So just write that exactly as it appears on your keyboard. So on your sheet music, just write from left to right, C, E, and G. When you see that in the sheet music, there's no guessing. You'll be able to see the notes and your hand will go right to it. Okay, so let's review these. So we have the C chord, C, E, G. Move to the right. There's our G major chord, G, B, D. Move to the right again. There's our A minor chord. We know it's a minor chord because of that little M. A minor is A, C, and E. Move to the left. There's our F major chord. Now major chords you won't see like a big M for major. Major, all you'll see is just the letter name of the chord, and if you don't see anything after that, you just assume major. So F major is F, A, C. Move to the left, there's our C major, and then the last two chords move right to the F and right to the G. And that's our left hand chords for this short excerpt of Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John. Now, replay this part as many times as necessary, and when you feel comfortable with both parts, move on to the next section and I'll show you how to play both hands together. Okay, here is Can You Feel the Love Tonight, both hands together. Okay, so our first melody note with the right hand is that second G above middle C. Here's middle C. Here's our starting note. Our first chord is a C chord. Now you'll notice that that G and the C chord line up together in the music. So that's an indication, that will always be the indication of when to play a note and a chord. In this case, we have a note and a chord that line up. You won't always have a chord and a note line up, and that's going to occur later on in this excerpt. But for now, we're going to start with the G and in the right hand, the C chord in the left hand. Now here we go. As I get ready to play this D, since the G chord is directly above that, they get played together. Here comes the A minor chord with the E in the right hand. Okay, I'm getting ready to play the A in the right hand with the F chord in the left hand. Now, next measure, you'll see that C chord, but there is no melody note underneath it. So, that's telling you, play the chord all by itself, and then come in with those next two melody notes. Now, we're at the F chord, so you'll notice the high F is the note that you play with your right hand, and the F chord is what you'll play with your left hand. Okay, we're at the last measure and the last note of the song. That D lines up with the G chord, so they get played together. Alright, let me play that a little bit quicker. Okay, now replay this as many times as necessary, and I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. My name is Guy Fawkes, and this is EasyChordPianoLessons.com.